Know that since 2019, people with green skills have been hired faster than people without them. And businesses that have embedded environmental sustainability are increasing their reputation, they're attracting more talent, they save money, and they are aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Do you have green skills? If not, now is the time to start your own green journey. Learning how to reduce your environmental impact at home and at the workplace has never been easier than now with the Green Skills for Life program. The Green Skills for Life program by 50 Shades Greener is fully online and it includes a complete toolkit so you can learn at your own pace. You will have access to an online data portal for carbon emissions management, so you know how to measure your home carbon emissions and, most important, how to reduce them. And it will also teach you how you can bring the new skills to your workplace or your community. Reducing your impact on the environment is one of the single most important things that anyone in our generation can do to ensure the future generations have the exact same opportunities as we did. And to top it all, when you reduce your home's or workplace carbon emissions, you also reduce the cost of your energy, waste and water bills. It is a win-win for the planet, but also for your pocket. What are you waiting for? Get in touch with the 50 Shades Greener team today and have green skills for life with our latest program.
Hello everyone! Welcome to the official Green Skills for Life launch party. I am so pleased that you've taken time out of your day to come and join me here today. Now before we start, let me tell you very quickly how the event is going to work. First, I'm going to give you a demonstration of the FSG data portal, which is part of the Green Skills for Life program, and it allows us as students how to measure and manage their own lives' carbon emissions. Then we will host a panel discussion with Simon Cleaver, CEO of CTH Awards, and Valentina Tarasco, who works in a large international IT company. Lastly, we recognise the importance for the education sector to start their own green journeys, to provide the next generation of talent with the skills they need to reduce their impact on the environment. So stay tuned towards the end of the show to find out more about how you can get access to the Green Skills for Life program. But just to introduce myself for a couple of minutes, my name is Raquel Novoa. I'm the founder of 50 Shades Greener. My own career up until 2017 started in hospitality, and you could say that I fell into hospitality by pure chance. I was 17 years old back in 1997 when my dad offered me a one-way ticket to wherever I wanted to go. You would think he wanted to get rid of me. And destiny has it that a week later I landed in Shannon in County Clare, of all places in the world. I had no English at the time, and so my only option for survival was to clean bedrooms as a housekeeping assistant in a hotel in Limerick. It wasn't really until 2012 that I started learning about sustainability. Back then, climate change wasn't spoken about as often as it is now. Back then, climate change and carbon emissions were things that only scientists and governments would talk and argue about. But unfortunately, I had experienced firsthand what nature can do to humanity. I was working in the Maldives, my favorite place in the world, in 2004, when the Boxing Day tsunami came and hit our island, destroying so many lives within its path. Eco-anxiety is real. I suffered it myself for years after that event, but of course back then we didn't speak about eco-anxiety, and so I felt that I was a bit crazy, on top of feeling anxious, which is not a good combination, let me tell you. The turning point on my eco-anxiety is when I was working in Hotel Doolin in Ireland, and I learned how to calculate the hotel's carbon emissions. This is when I realized that if I could measure those emissions, I could manage them. And most importantly, I could reduce them. And that made me feel powerful within my own life, that I was doing the best I could. And then it became my life's mission to learn more about sustainability, but also to teach other people the things that I was learning and were working for me. Personal responsibility for climate change matters. Our lives and the things we do every day have an effect in the environment in some way. Every time that we turn on a light, we're using energy and producing carbon emissions. Every time we buy something, anything at all, that product has carbon emissions associated with it. And it will become waste as well at some point in its life cycle. Our behaviour matters, because our behaviour has a direct effect on the planet that we all share. And we as individuals are the only people in charge of our own behaviour. I personally started my own green journey by reducing three resources that every single person and every single business in the world can manage better right now. That is the energy and the water that we use, and the waste that we produce along the way. Think about it for a second. We've all been born in countries where electricity and water are readily available to us. We don't have to make any effort to obtain these two resources, because we can flick a switch or we can open a tap, and there they are. We certainly don't have to think about waste. I put mine in the bin outside and it disappears every week as if by a magic trick. What we don't see is that in order to produce our electricity for our homes and our buildings, we're burning fossil fuels. What we don't see when we open a tap to brush our teeth is that there are 1.7 billion people in the planet already suffering from water scarcity. What we don't see is that when our bins are taken away, they're dumped into landfills, together with the other 2 billion tons of waste generated around the world every single year. We have become nations of resource overuse. And most importantly, we have lost the connection between those resources and the environmental damage that they're causing. Of course, climate change is not going to be sorted by teaching society how to measure and reduce their own impact on the environment. But it's for sure a starting point. It is something tangible that we as educators can do right now. Green skills are the future. And now is the time to equip individuals and businesses and educators on green skills, for the better of the people and for the better of the planet. The launch of this program is only a tiny starting point. There is much more that we need to do. We ourselves are currently developing third level education qualifications with our partner universities, so that we can offer real educational pathways for environmental sustainability at all levels of education. But as I mentioned previously, the Green Skills for Life programme provides access to the FSG data portal for carbon emissions management. So let's watch a quick demo on how the portal works.
Hello, and welcome to the FSG Data Portal. This online tool assists all of our students to measure and monitor their carbon emissions at home or the workplace. So let me show you how easy it is to use. When you first log in, it will have your name on the top right hand corner, as well as 3 menu options for the dashboard, your personal data, as well as an Analyze menu. Your carbon data dashboard is where you enter the utility data from your bills for energy, waste, and water where applicable. This information allows you to establish your baseline green KPI, which is your key performance indicator for each utility, as well as your CO2 kg per person per day figure. It's really easy to use, and depending on how many months or years that you enter information for, it allows you to then compare that usage. On the top left-hand corner, you'll see the option to select the year that you want to view. Below that, you'll see a section called Number of People Days, which I'm going to show you now how you calculate. Over here on the right, you will see the button for People Data. This is where you enter the number of people that live in your household, and then the portal calculates your people days figure based on the information that you've inputted. We work out your carbon emissions based on a per person kg figure, so this section is very important to fill out. To help you along, each table on the portal, be it electricity or landfill waste, has an important information heading across the top, which, if you expand, explains how to enter information for that particular table. The energy data section of the data dashboard has 7 tables, which you fill out as applicable to your situation. The information necessary to enter into these tables is given to us on our utility bills, which the Green Skills for Life programme teaches us how to correctly analyse. First up, we're going to look at electricity, where the information required is your usage in kilowatts. We simply enter our monthly kilowatt usage and our cost. Once you're finished inputting the figures, remember to click Save and Exit. The exact same process applies to oil, gas, or LPG, or diesel, wood, etc. As you continue to enter information, you'll see on the bottom right of the energy data section that the CO2 kg per person per day figure begins to populate, and this is your energy key performance indicator. Next up is waste. As you can see, you have 3 streams to fill information for, and the figure required is the kg of that particular waste for the corresponding month, as well as its cost of removal. Don't forget to click Save and Exit before you leave. Once again, you can see that the CO2 kg figure per person on the bottom right hand corner begins to populate, and this gives us our waste KPI figure. Lastly, we have the water data section. This is where you enter your monthly water consumption in cubic meters. If the cost is available to you, you can also enter it here. And once again, before you leave, click Save and Exit. The important figure from your carbon data dashboard is the total CO2 kg per person per day figure, which populates as you enter information in the sections that are relevant to you. This figure represents the total kg of CO2 per person that your household or workplace is producing daily. So it's easy. What do you think?
So let's swiftly move on now to our live discussion with 2 industry experts. I'm so excited to introduce to you Simon Cleaver, the CEO of CTH Awards. Simon is responsible for coordinating CTH educational projects and center development work, as well as heading up the CTH relationships with key industry players and universities. So hello, Simon.
Hi, Raquel, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you perfect. How are
Perfect.
you?
That's really good. I'm always very nervous with technology and whether it's going to work or not, but this seems
Don't
good.
be nervous. This is a party, so
Yeah, indeed. That's good. That's good.
I'd also like to introduce to the panel Valentina Tarasco. Valentina is a product manager in the IT industry. Her passion for nature started when her father used to take her camping and on boat trips around the Mediterranean, which I can really relate to. And today, Valentina applies that same passion for the environment at work, both when creating new sustainable products for customers, but as well as driving internal employee initiatives aimed at raising awareness. So, hello, Valentina. Are you with us?
I am. Hi, Raquel. Hi, Simon. And hello, everybody. Lovely to be with you this lovely sunny afternoon.
Likewise. Hi.
Yeah, it is lovely at the moment here in Ireland as well, but hopefully will last a bit longer. So let's kick off talking about green skills. And Simon, my first question is to you. Do you think the education sector is currently doing enough to address environmental sustainability? And I guess in particular, I'm interested in carbon emissions management.
Yeah, I think the easy answer to that is no. I mean, it really is a new sector for the education sector to start to get to grips with. Some universities and awarding bodies are beginning just to dip their toe into the water of the area. But it's a really, really important future part that we need to engage with, whether it's looking at the hospitality sector or indeed any other sector. I mean, obviously from CTH's point of view, hospitality and tourism is what we live and breathe. So we're very focused on that side of things. And, you know, to take our industry, for example, the wastage is historically huge. You only have to be in a 4-star hotel to go into rooms which are permanently on with maximum air conditioning. You look at restaurants where the amount of food waste is huge, where ventilation systems are on 24/7, lights are burning all the time. There's an awful lot that our sector can do and must do to address the environmental pressures that are emerging. And I think the education sector has a real responsibility to begin to put it onto the agenda and the syllabi, so that the young people entering the industry, people training up their skills within the industry, actually get the opportunity to things that can be done to improve on the environmental performance of sites. So I think it's a really important area. And you know, as I say, we're delighted to be engaging with FSG in terms of developing programs for students on this, and I just think the time has come for this. It really has.
Absolutely, and you've kind of answered my second question: is what would you like the education industry to do? And I guess you answered that by saying, you know, obviously engage with environmental sustainability and sustainability in general.
Well, I think there's an awful lot more in terms of that from that we can do. I mean, when I was thinking about what we would, you know, discuss at this conference, I mean, part of it from an awarding organisation is not just about what we tell our students or set in our syllabi for students to address within this area, but it's things that we can do ourselves. As an awarding organisation, we're in the field of examinations and assessments. You know, we're shipping exam scripts around the world, which is nuts in this day and age. You know, we can do our bit to reduce our carbon footprint by moving to online assessment and, you know, avoiding the use of unnecessary couriers. I mean, every industry has a responsibility to play their part, and I think that's something that we, you know, within CTH can do. And I really think, going back to the fundamentals of what CTH do, in terms of, from our point of view, what we can bring to the party in this is we're about recognised qualifications. So you know, what our role in this is to provide benchmarked, quality standards, recognised structures and qualifications that are recognised across industry, benchmarked against the qualifications framework, so that employers know when they're looking at a course that's been done by a particular candidate, that student has achieved set goals and has met the standard and has the recognised professional qualification. So I think from an awarding body point of view, our prime role is to help organisations like FSG put identifiable structure around the learning that they're delivering to students, and enable those students to come out with a meaningful, recognised qualification at the end of it. So sorry, I'm rambling, Raquel. I shall shut up.
You're fine. You're not rambling at all. I'm really glad actually that you have said about the things that you can do yourselves as an organization, because it's everyone's responsibility. I guess is always my point of view. And there are small things that we can all do within our internal organizations. And I have to say, it was a pleasure working with you to create that qualification for hospitality.
I just think it's great. I mean, I think we're so excited about this qualification because, yes, we have modules in sustainability, sustainable tourism and things within our main management qualifications. But this is the first time from CTH's perspective that we have engaged with a qualification that is solely focused on environmental sustainability. And that's why, for us, it's our most exciting new course of 2022, because it's so important.
Delighted to hear that, of course. Thanks a million, Simon. Just over to you now, Valentina. In your own experience, does the workforce currently have the right green skills to assist people like you in your roles of sustainability?
Wow, no. I'm going to be very honest. No, they don't. But things are changing quite fast. So what I'm seeing at the moment is a lot of action bubbling up from the bottom up, meaning that it's actually employees that are starting to take an interest, that are starting to ask questions, that are starting to ask, about getting upskilled, so that they can perform their jobs leading with sustainability in mind. And just as an example, so in my particular business unit, we offer rental models, which by definition are a lot more sustainable than the traditional purchase model. But the reality is that most of our sales workforce are not making the connection and are really struggling to articulate why a rental model is better than a purchase model. So the bottom line for me as a product manager for sustainable products is that unless we equip people with the right skills, we can create all the sustainable products that we want, but really we won't go very far selling them. So we really need to address that educational piece.
Very good, yes. And if you had, say, a wish list of skills that you would like your team to have, I'm sure there's lots, but in relation to sustainability, what kind of would be those skills that would really help assist your own role?
Yeah, so we're working on that. We're really building the foundation at the moment. But for me, there's probably three core and foundational skills. So the first one would be awareness. So starting with recognizing that every job is a green job, and I really love that phrase because that is so true. And that we're all equally responsible and able, whether it's at work or at home, to make a difference through our choices. So that would be the first one. The second one is developing long-term thinking. So I know that everybody's priorities, especially in this current climate, excuse the pun, are different. Most people look to protect and cater for their families, and that's absolutely natural. That's human nature. But we also need to be able to connect how the choices that we make today have an impact on tomorrow's generations. A couple of months back, I came across this really powerful Native American saying that says that we do not inherit earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. And that really captures the essence of what it is that I'm saying, that I'm trying to say here. And then the last one is obviously education, but also critical thinking, which is one of the key skills that, nowadays that any employer looks for. So go beyond what the media feed you, go beyond what you hear and see from brands and corporations, and really start being inquisitive, start asking questions. Are they being 100% honest with you, or are they just greenwashing? So that for me is really the foundation of the skills that we would need to equip our workforce with. And then obviously we need to go way beyond that. The transition to a green economy requires new skills. And we often hear these referenced as green skills. And if we look at some recent studies from LinkedIn, they say that green jobs are already outpacing non-green jobs. So there is certainly an expectation and a trend out there that there's going to be millions of new green jobs generated as new climate policies and commitments from various organizations are implemented. So we really, really need to equip our workforce to meet this incredible and probably unprecedented demand.
Absolutely. I think, education is no more than many other industries going to have to go through to a huge transition. And yeah, I guess it all starts with that piece you said at the beginning, that awareness that is still lacking in so many people. Yeah, really, really good answer, Valentina. I love all my employees to have all them skills as well, but I think my team do. Simon, over back to you. I guess it might be a bit of a repetition, but what role do you feel the FE sector, because it's not only about qualifications and third level educations, the FE sector in particular has to provide green skills?
Yeah, I think the FE sector has actually almost the most important role to play, because the FE sector is about people learning practical skills that are going to make a difference on the ground in reality. I was interested with Valentina's comment about greenwashing, because I think that is the danger, is that it's so easy to have a program that is about window dressing and don't we look good, and we can have a logo that says that we're environmentally sustainable, and and I think that there's a huge danger in that. And so coming back to the FE sector, the people that study at FE colleges will be people who are going to be working on the ground, rather than necessarily in a very high strategic position. And they're the ones that are going to be able to make sure that the difference is achieved in terms of, for example, making sure that the air conditioning plant is run at the most economical possible way. And again, the beauty of that is that it's a win-win situation, insofar as the planet benefits if there's less energy used, but so does the hotel or restaurant or resort or whatever benefit, because they make economies. And again, I sorry to keep bringing it back to the new qualification, but one of the beauties of this new level 2 certificate is
level 4, Simon. Level 4.
Right. Go on. Sorry, did I miss something?
Level 4.
Level 4. I do apologise. I've got level 2 in my head. Sorry. Right. The level 4 program. One of the advantages is that the assessment of it is actually dependent on people achieving achievable results on the ground, in terms of they go into a resort or a hotel and actually achieve savings and efficiencies and reductions in waste. And so it ties in really well with what the FE skills sector needs to be achieving.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I completely echo your sentiments on Valentina, that things are now really starting from the bottom up, and it's about educating every single person. It's not just about having those sustainability officers, it's about educating everyone on the ground as well. Just back to you, Valentina, do you think employers understand their role, I guess, in managing and measuring the organization's carbon emissions?
I think it really depends on the organization, the size of the organization, and even the larger ones that may be a bit more advanced. I think to an extent, there is definitely a recognition there that they have a role to play. I think, you cannot hide under a rock anymore. And that's going to be more and more the case as we move forward. So a lot of organizations are clearly already taking steps towards decarbonization, which is great. But what I'm seeing is that the skills aren't there. And so the measures that are being taken either don't go very far or don't fast enough, for example. And that is partly because at the end of the day, this requires a major shift in business models. And ultimately, organizations are there, are under pressure to continue to show growth and obviously to turn in a profit. So to do that while changing the business model is not easy, and it requires leadership, it requires bold moves. And most people right now are just not equipped with the knowledge or even willing to take those bold steps.
Yeah, but to be honest, I used to think carbon emissions was something that only scientists would do. I didn't have any idea at all that a regular person like me could actually calculate or measure my own lives or my workplace carbon emissions. And now we're teaching students as young as 14 and 15 through our secondary schools program how to do this. There's 15-year-olds going around calculating their carbon emissions, which I just think to me is it's obviously one of my main goals. So yeah, I completely agree. Just the knowledge isn't there, and we have to educate people on it, obviously. So Simon, last question for yourself. Are you seeing a demand from your own perspective for environmental sustainability education globally?
Yes, I mean, the truth is very much so. And it's been around for a while. I mean, just before the COVID lockdowns, I was in the Philippines and I was visiting one at the CCH Centre there and talking to the students, and the questions that they were asking, were actually quite a lot about sustainability, and I think it's a big issue for the Philippines in terms of their development. And these were sort of 16, 17-year-old students, but they seemed very aware of it, and it seemed to be something that was quite important to them. Similarly, just this week I had a meeting with the Minister of Tourism for Guyana, which has just discovered huge oil reserves off their coast, and they're now growing at something like 40% a year. But they're a rainforest country, very small population, wonderful wildlife, amazing green assets, and they're really juggling and determined to make sure that their tourism growth, which they see as a huge potential for them, is done in a managed way that doesn't actually kill the golden goose insofar as destroy the environment that they have in the pursuit of the tourist dollar. So I think it's everywhere. People are waking up to the fact that you can't have your cake and eat it. You've got to. Everyone wants to have a nice life. Everyone wants to enjoy tourism. Everyone wants to enjoy hotels and good meals out. But it's got to be done in a sustainable way, and this is coming up to us. Whenever we engage with centres and with opinion leaders, this seems to be more and more to the fore.
Yeah, I think one good piece of advice would be to get them to watch and maybe meet with the Costa Rican government, because it's my favorite country in the whole world. They have achieved true sustainability, but they have invested for the last 25 years in environmental education throughout entire society, and that has made a big difference.
Funnily enough, that country was mentioned quite a lot during the conversation. They see that as a beacon to follow.
Yeah, they've done amazing in Costa Rica. I've been following their progress possibly for the last 5 years, and I still haven't managed to get there, but I know I will very soon. And they're a great example for any nation to follow. I often wish that we could take a leaf out of their book here for Ireland, because we're two islands. Sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can quite imagine that they will be very interested in this this new program. So I think maybe you will get to visit Guyana.
I will. Brilliant. Thank you, Simon. And last question to you, Valentina. What have the employers that you've worked with done to address carbon emissions? And did that include employee training, or is there normally one person in charge of doing the carbon emissions calculations?
Yeah, so we do have a team of people. It's a small team for a large organization, and they do all the carbon calculations on behalf of the organization. In terms of employee training, we're getting there, slowly but surely getting there. So our company had already put in place some training, but that kind of fell short. It felt like it was more of a box ticking exercise. I'm not sure if I should say that, but it was more of a box ticking exercise, because it certainly didn't address the type of education that we were hoping to get. And it was more around our products and services and how those products can help our customers achieve their own sustainability goals. But what that training was missing was the overall context. So the question should really be, why do customers even have sustainability goals in place in the first place? So we really started small and local, building a program that we called Climate Change and Sustainability 101, just to give people the basics and to be able to then connect the dots to our products and services, but also show them that they do have the power to change. Because at the end of the day, regardless of who we work for, whether we're in the public sector or private sector, it really doesn't matter. We're all consumers. And so we have the ability to drive change through the choices that we make. So for us, this training that we're putting together, it's really, it's a labor of love for myself and a few other people. And I think what we're seeing is that it's really resonating with people, because unlike other trainings that we regularly take, it really touches on people's sensitivity. It resonates with people because they see a lot of knock-on effects on media. They read about the effects of climate change every day, and so we really get a lot of comfort and encouragement out of that.
That's brilliant. Great. Well, thank you so much, guys, for giving us time this afternoon for your insights and expertise. Do you have any final comments? Are you happy to go?
No, the only thing I would say, Raquel, is that, this is a journey, and, there are days when I feel completely discouraged because, this isn't going to resonate with 100% of the people that you meet on your journey. But the reality is that you just need to keep going because for every one of these knockdowns, you'll have so many accomplishments along the way. So there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. So just keep that positivity going, because it's infectious, So keep it up.
I think that's the thing. It's infectious. I think that enthusiasm, and if we keep banging on about what can be achieved in terms of sustainability, that message will get out slowly but surely, and it is permeating. And as I say, the younger generation coming up, they're so much more aware of it than my generation. So I think let's be optimistic.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it is easy to get disheartened, I guess. I've been trying to spread this message now for about 5-6 years, and 7 years. Oh, Jesus. Sometimes you can get a little bit disheartened, but I myself feel real change in the last year and a half. I have seen a huge amount of movement and advancement in all sectors, including education. So I do think we're hopefully we're in the crust now of something of some real change and something really good happening. So cool. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your time. I see you both, I'm sure.
It's a pleasure. Thanks very much. Okay.
Pleasure. Thanks, Raquel. Cheers.
Okay, so I think it's also very important that we hear from some student voices, and we've put together a really quick 1-minute video from our students that study with us in 50 Shades Greener to see what they think about green skills.
As custodians of a World Heritage Site, it's always been part of our mission statement to care for and nurture our environment. By implementing an environmental management system in green culture, we can protect the cliffs for future generations to enjoy.
I'm fairly confident, yeah, because I think once you break a habit, you can go forward with that. You're not going to go backwards, you just go forward.
We feel that, all these projects that we're going to continue to do are all going to make us, we'll have a better carbon footprint, a better building envelope, a more efficient building to run, and a more carbon sustainable building for the future. So
now that we have started and have immediately seen the gains that are to be made both with staff and guest involvement and guest knowledge, we are at the beginning of a very long and successful journey. Staff involvement is crucial and it benefits everyone at work and at home, and most importantly, it benefits the future generations. And green being one of the major Kerry colours, as we say in Kerry, green for the win.
And that change can only come from us, from within every business in the industry and from every department.
Okay, so now it has come the time for a small announcement that we have for any educators that are watching us live today. And I'd like to introduce Stuart Skinner, who is our 50 Shades Greener Expansion Manager. Over to you, Stuart.
Thanks, Raquel, and hi, everyone. We're just really excited to give this opportunity. We want to provide free access to the Green Skills Programme for 10 education professionals to reap the benefits of equipping their team with the green skills for the future. We'd love you to come and join an exclusive educator programme. We'll be kicking it off in June with a live webinar. Access will be provided to the FSG portal and the Green Skills for Life programme. And we'll finish up and wrap up the programme with a final QA webinar to share your learnings and get some of your feedback on the programme itself. There are only 10 spaces available, and you can register your interest by emailing me, stuart@50shadesgreener.ie. I think my email is on the screen now for you to quickly note down, or you can contact me on LinkedIn. Either way, happy to receive your comments. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Stuart, for that. I really look forward to working with those 10 educators. And we'll be kicking off in June, so register as soon as possible. So we're going to round up today's lunch party with a final Q&A from the audience. I see some questions were already popping up in the chat earlier on, so feel free to put a few more. I'll answer as many as I can now. So first question I see there from Kate, how is this new program delivered and what are the expected learning outcomes? So that's a great question, obviously. So the program at the moment is fully online. It is self-directed and it's comprised of 3 modules. On module 1, we teach a student how to measure their home carbon emissions by measuring energy, waste and water in the household. In module 2, then we teach them how to reduce those emissions by simply changing their own behavior and raising that awareness around the use of utilities. And then in module 3, we teach them how they can apply the same learning to their workplace or their community. So we're, of course, already developing new modules. It doesn't end here. Energy, waste and water is only a starting point. But that's at the moment of what the program in its current state is. So on to another question. Is the program accredited? No, not at the moment. We do have our accredited program with CTH. That's the level 4 certificate that Simon was speaking about. But this program is non-accredited yet, and we've actually done that a little bit on purpose, I guess. We are responding to industry needs because we want this program to work, I guess, for the entire society, for anyone that is already at the workplace. And our research indicated the need for shorter online programs to be able to upskill people that are already part of the workforce. And so it's been designed to be delivered standalone or alongside other training qualifications. And, if in the world of sustainability, I guess this has kind of always been My worry is that things change so quickly. New developments happen so quickly, and so you can have a lovely program accredited, but in 6 months' time or in a year's time, you're already adding to it, and those new parts wouldn't be accredited. So that's the main reason we haven't accredited yet, but it's not to say that it might not be in the future, I guess. I hope that answers that question. So we'll take on, it's 4:45, I'm conscious of timing, but we'll take one more question. Why such an emphasis on carbon emissions management? Okay, well, first of all, carbon emissions management, I guess, is my passion. It is what created for me that pivotal point where I started feeling in control of my own eco-anxiety, because I knew I was doing the best I could and I had the data to prove it. So I get with, when it comes to measurement, to me, is the first step towards managing our environmental impact. If we don't measure something, we can't manage it. We can't say with certainty that we are actually reducing our impact on the environment if we don't have that baseline as to where we start. So this is why I was quite adamant since 2020, I think it was, that we needed to develop the FSG data portal to calculate carbon emissions, because during my search for carbon footprint calculators, I found several online tools that were at the start quite complicated to use, to be honest. But then I also realized that inputting the same data in all of them, I was getting completely different results. And so I knew that I couldn't trust, I guess, that data. And so the portal that we developed calculates carbon emissions according to metric values from the Environmental Protection Agency in Ireland. And so I kind of stand by those figures with confidence. And it also allows us to easily then report environmental data from hospitality businesses and homes. So yeah, to be carbon emissions management and creating that measurement phase and that baseline, to me, that's the starting point of any environmental sustainability program. Unless you're measuring, we can never believe that, that you are doing better and that you're reducing your impact on the environment. So I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to keep you or run over time on the event. But if you have any unanswered questions, please don't hesitate to contact me or my team. You can email info@50shadesgreener.ie and we'll answer any questions that you have. So we've come to the end of the Greener Skills launch party. For me and the entire team of 50 Shades Greener, thank you so much for spending the afternoon with us. Whatever you're watching from around the world, you can visit our website, 50shadesgreener.ie, to find out about our programs, or even just to communicate with us and have any type of discussions that you might want to have. And remember, if you're in the education sector, do sign up with the Steward for our Educators program. So that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you very soon.
Did you know that since 2019, people with green skills have been hired faster than people without them? And businesses that have embedded environmental sustainability are increasing their reputation, they're attracting more talent, they save money, and they are aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Do you have green skills? If not, now is the time to start your own green journey. Learning how to reduce your environmental impact at home and at the workplace has never been easier than now with the Green Skills for Life program. The Green Skills for Life program by 50 Shades Greener is fully online and includes a complete toolkit so you can learn at your own pace. You will have access to an online data portal for carbon emissions management, so you know how to measure your home carbon emissions and, most important, how to reduce them. And it will also teach you how you can bring the new skills to your workplace or your community. Reducing your impact on the environment is one of the single most important things that anyone in our generation can do to ensure the future generations have the exact same opportunities as we did. And to top it all, when you reduce your home's or workplace carbon emissions, you also reduce the cost of your energy, waste and water bills. It is a win-win for the planet, but also for your pocket. What are you waiting for? Get in touch with the 50 Shades Greener team today and have green skills for life with our latest program.